Hello and welcome to another episode. I am Brian, the Unskilled Commander. Welcome to my newest gameplay video. I hope you have fun watching this. It's going to be an interesting game. These are 4 of my decks that are along the weaker side. They haven't been upgraded too well. I'm trying to figure that out because I like them. I want them to do better. We've got Teysa, which is actually probably the best of the 4. She does relatively well. She does what the crux of the deck is supposed to do. It's like sacrificing creatures to do double triggers. We've got Ayara, Font of Lifegain, which of course is my Liliana Kindred deck, where it's all Liliana Planeswalkers and a bunch of other stuff. Again, this is a really weird hodgepodge one. It does tend to do decent off of just Ayara's ability, where black creatures come in and it deals damage to people. The Planeswalkers kind of help that. We've got Eriette of the Charmed Apple, another one where I really thought it was a fun concept, but doesn't seem to execute well. And finally, we've got Unblockable Equipment, which is another really fun concept because it's Tetsuko. Throw out a bunch of real little creatures that have power or toughness of 1. Tetsuko's on the battlefield. I load them up with a bunch of equipments that are only buffing the power. We're going to see that's what this is about. It's about testing. Also, based on some feedback from prior episodes, we are doing skipping the first 3 turns. We're not skipping all 5, we're skipping the first 3. There's not much to go over to catch up. Eriette has gone first. She's got a Bonder's Ornament out. Ayara played sacrificed Mirrored Landscape and Terramorphic Expanse to get, 4 lands out. Teysa has a Filigree Familiar, so I gained 2 life, as you can see, and it has Altar of Dementia out. The one that's going to be a concern is Unblockable Equipment, because not only is the commander out, because it's a 2-drop, but we also have Plague Myrrh out, which is a 1/1 infect, and we were able to attach Bonesaw to it. Bonesaw is ready, which is a +1/+0. So now it's a 2/1 unblockable infect. So that's going to start doing some damage pretty quick. We are now past the road to 100. I hope you tuned in for that. I hope you stick around past that. But we are over 100 episodes on the Unskilled Commander. I'm very pleased with that. I'm hoping to get some better growth in the second half of this year. We kind of stalled out there for a few months, which is upsetting, but this happens. I'm not the professor. I'm not the command zone. I don't have crazy special effects or great editing skills yet. So my episodes aren't the wow factor, and I'm trying to figure out exactly how to make these a little bit more enjoyable to watch. And I know gameplay videos on YouTube really aren't that big of a thing to begin with, so that's also a bit of the wrong horse, so this isn't quite the magic channel that succeeds. But that's alright. We're going to plow ahead and see what we can do. So now let us go ahead and jump into turn 4 with Eriette. Untap, upkeep, draw. I will play a Plains. I'm going to go ahead and tap 1, 2, 3 to play Eriette of the Charmed Apple. A 2/4. Each creature that's enchanted by an aura I control can't attack me or planeswalkers I control. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, where X is the number of auras you control. So as you can see, clearly it's almost sort of like a goad mechanic. I'm supposed to enchant other people's creatures with auras that help them. Like, oh, I'm giving you an aura that gives you +3/+3 in vigilance or something. But because it's an aura I control, you can't attack me with it. So it's basically goad. However, I didn't really want to go that route because it seemed obvious and seemed how everyone would probably build Eriette. I figured I wanted to try just a pure lockdown. No one can swing anywhere except for me, which I guess theoretically, if it does start functioning properly, it might not be the best and most fun to play against, so she might have to adjust and morph as a deck anyway, because I don't want to lock down a game and make it no fun for anyone, but she's never even gotten to that point yet, so it doesn't matter. And of course, the idea was to have a ton of auras out, because then her second ability would also kick in, and I would gain life, and they would lose life off of that. I will tap the Bonder's Ornament to sacrifice Shire Terrace to search for a basic land card and put on the battlefield tapped. I'm going to get a basic Plains, shuffle. That's all we can do there. We're going to go ahead and pass turn. How is everyone out there in Magic watching community doing? I hope you're having a good day whenever you're watching this. I thank you again for checking out the channel. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Throw some likes around. Check out my comedy skits. I'm proud of them. They're worth a chuckle and a smile. So we untap over here, upkeep, draw for turn. I will play another swamp, tapping 3 for Ayara, First of Lifegain. 2/3. Whenever Ayara, First of Lifegain, or another black creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So we gain and they all lose. And then we can tap and sacrifice another black creature to draw a card. So that's nice. It's also a card draw on a stick for a bit. Fortunately, we don't have anything that can be done with 2 mana, so we are going to pass there. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. I will play a Temple of the False Gods. Unfortunately, it's not online just yet because I don't have a 5th land. I will tap 1, 2, 3 and play Etched Familiar. Look, I've got 2 familiars out. This is a 3/2. When Etched Familiar dies, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Regrettably, it can't do much against an unblockable, but it's always nice to just throw in front of a thing. Yep, it dies, but boom, you gain life and everyone else takes the damage. I have a 2/2 that could swing, and when Filigree Familiar dies, I draw a card, but I don't want to go swinging in on anybody just yet because there's no good attacks. This could kill it, that could kill it, this could stack block and kill it, and it can't kill. Well, it could kill the Plague Mirror. So I suppose, but you see, here's the thing. Tetsuko is a 1/3. So they could just chump block with that. The Filigree wouldn't die, and it wouldn't kill Tetsuo. So there's no reason for them to block with the Plague Mirror. So we're just going to pass turn. Untap over here, upkeep, draw. I will play an island for turn. Well, this is an interesting one. We're going to tap 1, 2, 3, 4 for Decimator Web. This is looking like a strong, unblockable equipment game. I can pay 4 and tap it. Target opponent loses 2 life, gets a poison counter, then puts the top 6 cards of their library into their graveyard. That is huge for 4 mana. Now, obviously, at this point in the game, I can't activate it until next turn, and someone could easily blow up the artifact. If not, that's a pretty good way to slam into somebody, or to spread out poison counters, because I can swing at somebody with this. Next turn, I can swing at someone different, and the third person I can hit with Decimator Web. Now everyone's got 2 poison counters. However, this deck is not built around Proliferate and poison counters. We're going to swing. We're going to go, well, where'd you go? You have the potential to lock me down. You probably are just going to start pinging, not too much of a concern. And you've got a couple guys that can just kind of give you some effects, but they are chumps to be sacrificed to Teysa later. I think we're going to go at you for 2 poison counters. All right, there it is. Yeah, it's very small. You guys can't see it, unfortunately, but 2 poison counters. That's all we can do. We will pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Going to tap the Rogue's Passage for a Soul Ring I just top decked. All right, we're going to tap a white and Soul Ring for Thalia Heretic Cathar. 3/2 with first strike. Creatures and non-basic lands your opponent's control enter the battlefield tapped. That shouldn't be really too much of an issue, except maybe for Teysa. I'm sure but most of the non-basic lands in that deck are going to come in tapped anyway, so it's not really going to hurt her too much. I will then tap my last 2 mana for Environmental Sciences, search for a basic land card, reveal it, put in your hand, and gain 2 life. I did not play a land for turn because, oops, this is turn 5. Make sure we keep track of that. So I will play the Swamp that I just got, and it comes in untapped because it's just normal play. I do still have 2 mana up, but unfortunately nothing I can play with it. But we're going to pass. We're going to come over here, untap, upkeep, draw. Getting kind of flooded with mana, unfortunately. I'm going to play a Swamp. Going to play, or tap 3, and play Liliana of the Veil. It's a Planeswalker that comes in with 3 loyalty counters. I'm going to +1 her to 4 and say each player discards a card. Now that's each player. I will just discard a Swamp. I think we're going to discard Angelic Accord because we're not gaining life yet. I'll discard Kefner's Monument. I guess we'll get rid of Elvish Doomsayer. I will tap 3 and play Oath of Liliana. When Oath of Liliana enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a creature. So what they're going to do is they're going to sacrifice this one, because then they gain 2 life and everyone else loses 2 life. Unfortunately, we didn't have Teysa out yet. I'm going to get rid of Thalia, because of course I don't want that. And I think we actually have to get rid of the commander, because it's cheap enough that we can recast it next turn easy enough. And we're going to want to keep that poison out. Second part of Oath of Liliana is at the beginning of each end step. If a Planeswalker enters the battlefield under my control this turn, put a 2/2 zombie creature token on the battlefield. We're going to move to our end step because we're not going to bother attacking. Well, we could, huh? Fair point. We're going to move to combat and swing Ayara at you for 2. It is 2 commander, but that's not going to matter for her. You're wide open, you take the 2. Then we move to our end step. Because a Planeswalker did come in this turn, we make a 2/2 zombie, and because a black creature in the battlefield, we gain a life and everybody else loses a life. That's a pretty solid turn. We're going to pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. Fortunately, it's not a land, so this is stalling us out. We can't get Teysa out. Going to tap 2 and play Doomed Center. It's a 1/1. If it dies, I make a 2/2 black zombie. Could attack again onto the Infect player, even though that's not really what the deck is. It's a strong sub-theme, so I'm certainly going to admit that. But yeah, I guess we'll swing in for 2 and then pass turn. Untap over here, upkeep, draw for turn. It is an island, which is helpful. We're going to tap 1, 2, 3, 4 and recast Tetsuko. We'll then move to combat, swing. Well, wait a second. Who made me sacrifice? But then again, I suppose with a poison deck, you do need to focus on one person, just like everyone else is focusing on me. So I suppose we should. We will Go ahead and give you 2 more poison counters. And Infect does not take away your life total. That's really all we're going to do, and we're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw over here. Now we've got something. We're going to compulsory rest on your Infect. Enchant creature can't attack or block. Enchanted creature has pay to sacrifice this creature. You gain 2 life. Going to tap my last plains and Soul Ring to play the enchantment Flaming Fist. Commander creatures you own have whenever this creature attacks, it gains double strike until end of turn. Now, if I swung, I would be open for a bunch of crackback from other people. We don't want to do that just yet. So we're going to move to our end step. Every opponent is going to lose 1 life because I have 1 enchantment out, and I'm going to gain 1 life. 1 aura. Enchantments like Flaming Fist don't count. We're going to go ahead and pass. That was turn 6, starting turn 6, rather. We're going to untap over here, draw. I will play another swamp. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap 1 and sacrifice this zombie token as an additional cost to play Village Rites. Draw 2 cards. Nothing but lands. That's not helping deck. But alright, we're going to keep it going. So then I'm going to tap 1, 2, 3 to play Liliana's Standard Bearer. It's a 3/1 with flash. When it enters the battlefield, draw X cards, where X is the number of creatures that died under your control this turn, which is just 1, so I will draw a card. Hey, it's not a land, finally. It's a 4 mana, and I don't have 4 mana. I will then go ahead, plus Liliana of the Veil. Each player discards a card. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of Swamp. Now, you guys have to make, well, this person's going to get rid of Underworld Dreams. In response, wait, no, that would it be smart? Well, darn it. Yeah, I guess we'll get rid of Stern Dismissal. There's not any really good uses for it. And over here, we'll get rid of Daxos Blessed by the Sun. Now, that's all we can really do. He's got Summoning Sickness, but Black Creature did enter. Everybody loses a life, and I gain a life. Except for Tetsuko, everyone's still at 40 life. This is interesting and not great. We need to keep this game moving. We'll pass turn then. See, right there, we're on turn 6. The life totals are pretty similar. Now, that is because a lot of these decks have small life gain in them, which is part of why they're continuing. So we're going to untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Dang, it's still not a land. That's upsetting, because I got nothing. Alright, I'm going to sacrifice Filigree Familiar to Altar of Dementia. So when he dies, I'm going to draw a card. Nope, still not a land. Awesome. But something I can play at least. And then target player puts a number of cards equal to its sacrifice creature's power, which is just 2, from the top of their library into their graveyard. Not sure who is really a concern. I guess we'll make you mill 2 cards. An Evolving Wilds and a Pristine Talisman. Nothing crazy. Thankfully, I did draw a card I can play at least. I will tap 2 for a Cruel Celebrant. It's a 1/2. When a Cruel Celebrant or another creature or planeswalker I control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. We will then pass turn. Untap over here. Upkeep, draw. Now, how does this word it? Enchanted creature has pay 2 and sacrifice this creature, you gain 2 life. I believe that's them. They can do it, right? I don't think I can do it, because it's you gain 2 life. Well, it doesn't say controller, it just says enchanted creature has this ability. So we're going to take the risk that I'm doing that properly. Tap 2. I think I went over this last time I had something like that. Probably last time I played that deck. Tap 2, sacrifice it, I gain 2 life. Then I will tap 1 to play Eater of Virtue. It's an equipment that when a equipped creature dies, exile it. Equipped creature gets +2/+0. And as long as a card exiled with Eater of Virtue has flying, the equipped creature has flying. And that continues on for a bunch of other keywords. I'm not going to equip them onto Tetsuko because then they wouldn't be unblockable. So there's no point to it. I will just leave them up for a blocker and pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw over here. Now I'm going to do a bigger play. So 2 white, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and enchant, or bestow, Celestial Archon onto Eriette. Enchanted creature gets +4/+4 and has flying in first strike. So she is now a 6/8 with flying in first strike. And when she attacks, she does get double strike thanks to Flaming Fist, which would make her a 16 commander damage. That is a bit of a game changer. We are at the beginning of turn 7, so let us begin. The question is, who do we really want to go to? Yes, we do have 4 poison counters. That could give us up to 6, but I feel like I don't like the idea of letting everyone else just off the hook. But is it a threat? That's the point. Like, is Tetsuko a threat right now? Not really. Unless they get a creature, which isn't going to be most likely Infect, they can't even swing in. So while they can slowly give us, so it would still take 3 turns before they could kill us with Infect. That gives us 2 turns to kill somebody else and then go after them. So we're going to move to combat. We're going to swing at you because you're doing the most and making a discard. As I said, it's flying. You don't have flying. It's 4, 5, 6. and it's double strike, so that's 12. Sorry, not. I was going off the 8 from the toughness. But still, 12 commander is a huge, huge hit. There you go. Down to 28, you got 12 commander. One more hit, you are donezo. We're going to pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. Play a swamp for turn. All right, now, of course, doesn't quite matter because we're going to do this, because why wouldn't we? Tap 4 to play Settle the Score. Exile target creature. We're going to exile Eriette. She now costs 2 more to cast. The enchantment falls off. It goes into the graveyard because it's just an enchantment. Oh, everyone did lose a life at the end of that turn because we had 1 enchantment out. Or aura. We had 1 in aura. Anyway, we put 2 loyalty counters on target planeswalker we control. We could ultimate Liliana of the Veil, but that's really not going to help anything. No one's got such a crazy board state that we really would benefit from that. I'm just going to go ahead and tap 3 to play Staff the Death Magus. Black spell. If I cast a black spell or a swamp enters the battlefield, I gain a life. I'm going to +1 Lily to make each player discard a card. I'm going to discard my last land in hand. Everyone else has to discard. They have to discard their one card. They have to discard their 1 card. And I guess we'll discard Children because we're certainly not going to have enough mana to cast that anytime soon. We do have an open field, so we will send the Standard Bearer at you for 3. But that's really all we can do. We're going to go ahead and pass. All right, we're starting to make some plays now. Untap, upkeep, draw. Whew, not a land. But we'll tap 1, 2, 3 and play it. Circuit Mender, when it enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life, okay? And when it leaves the battlefield, you draw a card. I think we're going to actually sacrifice it to Altar of Dementia to draw a card. Yes, it's a land, thankfully. And that will trigger Cruel Celebrant, so each opponent loses a life, and then we gain a life. I will play the land in my hand, which is Swamp, and now Temple of the False Gods is online. A little late, but still, it's in there. And part of Altar of Dementia is someone's going to mill 2 cards. We'll make Tetsuko mill 2 cards. 1, 2. Okay, 2 creatures that could have started to swing in. That's good. All we can do there, we're not going to swing anybody. We're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. It is a creature, though, so I will tap 2 and play Ghostly Pilferer. When it becomes untapped, you may pay 2 if you do draw a card. Whenever an opponent casts a spell from anywhere other than their hand, draw a card. And I can discard a card. Can't be blocked this turn, but it doesn't matter because it can't be blocked based off of Tetsuko's ability. I will then tap 1 to equip Bonesaw, and then tap 1 to equip Eater of Virtue. So now this creature is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 unblockable. Not bad. I suppose now that we do have 1 damage, what's 1 damage off of Tetsuko going to do? And we can only go there. Does it matter? Does it matter? I guess we'll do it just to help matters along, right? Now we pass. Untap, upkeep, draw on turn 8. Play the land I just drew, which I suppose is okay. So white, black, 1 other, 2 for the tax, Eriette of the Charmed Apple. Regrettably, I don't have enough to activate Bonder's Ornament to draw another card, so that's really all we can do. We're going to have to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw over here. Tapping 3 for Commander's Sphere. Going to go ahead and sacrifice Commander's Sphere to draw a card. Well, that could maybe... I didn't play a land, I just drew into this Commander's Sphere. And it's not a black spell, so that doesn't trigger. If I -2 Liliana, I can make target player sacrifice creature. Could target you, you have to sacrifice Eriette, and we could swing in for 5 damage on you. Seems like a bit of a feel bad. If we targeted you, you would sacrifice Tetsuko. You actually cannot recast Tetsuko on your next turn. So that might be a good idea, because that would just mean that thing can't be unblockable, but it can make itself unblockable if it really needs to. And then if we targeted you, because we know you're going to get your commander out next turn, that allows you to not get a double trigger off of one of their deaths, and you would most likely do the Doomsayer just so you would get a 2/2 in response to it. But I guess we really should just go for wins, right? So we're going to sacrifice... See, I'm torn. It's like, well, I want to make these games under an hour because that seems like a nice sweet spot for these games to be, like an hour or less. But I don't want to just blindly swing improperly. Like, I'm trying to learn better strategies, and I'm hoping that my channel helps all of other people learn Magic better, learn strategies. Even if nothing else, you're learning from my mistakes and my foolish deck building. So who is truly the threat in this particular moment? Doing the sacrifice of creature would benefit the most. Benefit this character the most. Like I said, we would do 5 damage to them, bringing them down to 31. It's not huge. They have 42 life, so we really should do something again about that. So maybe, I think we will. I think we'll target you. You'll sacrifice this, but that triggers this ability, so you'll still gain a life, and we'll all lose a life off of it. And then you make a 2/2 zombie. So it doesn't really hurt you all that much, but you didn't get a double trigger off of having Teysa out. That was a black spell, though, so I do gain a life. Or no, that wasn't a spell. Sorry. That was just a a Planeswalker ability. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pass turn. Now we're going to untap over here, upkeep, draw. Yep, I figured it'd be a land now. But that's fine, we need lands. 1, 2, 3, 4 for Teysa Karlov. I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice the zombie to the altar of Dementia, which is going to make this death trigger twice because Teysa's out. Oh, sorry. Teysa's a 2/4. If a creature dying causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time, and creature tokens you control have Vigilance and Lifelink. So that 2/2 would have had Vigilance and Lifelink. But I feel like this is a better play. We're going to make every opponent lose 2 life, and I'm going to gain 2 life. And then someone is going to mill 2 cards. You're doing some stuff which I don't like, so we're going to make you mill this time. It looks like some decent hits. As you can see, Teysa is the better of the 4 decks, like in terms of I've gone back and tried to tweak her, and she's 45 life and everyone else is lower. But she doesn't have a crazy board state. I need more card draw in her, and I do have a card draw spell in my hand. I just need the chance to play it, and if they plus that Lily, it's going to be, I have 2 really good cards in hand, and I don't want to get rid of either of them. That's the problem, but we'll see. Pass turn, untap, upkeep, draw over here, untap, tap 3 for Dream Shackled Geist. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose up to 1. Tap target creature, or target creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. So we're going to move to combat. We get to do that thing we just read. I can tap somebody down. My creatures are unblockable, so it doesn't really matter. It's more about, oh, you swung at me. I'm going to keep your creature tapped so you can't do it again, but nobody did. So and it doesn't matter. We'll tap down Eriette, just because it doesn't matter. But we are going to go to combat, and we're going to swim Ghostly Pilferer at you, however. So as we said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to be 5 unblockable damage to you. And then there's no effects off of that, because we didn't exile anything. Now we're going to go ahead and pass turn. Untap, so Eriette untaps, no big deal. Upkeep, draw, it's a land, Tyrite Sanctum. Now I'm definitely going to tap 4 and tap Bonder's Ornament to draw a card. Okay, that helps. We're going to tap 1, 2 to Petrify. Enchanted creature can't enchant artifact or creature. It can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated. That keeps your crap from swinging. Now, granted, you were swinging over there. I guess if this was a real game, you could politic at this point and be like, hey, is that going to keep going at the person that's the biggest life total, or is that going to come at me again? Because I would advise you don't come at me again. And it's like, oh, you know. So there is that. And we could enchant Teysa, because then her activated ability wouldn't activate. It's not, or no, it's activated. She has a triggered ability, so it won't stop that. Sorry, I don't believe that's the right choice right now, because they are definitely, that is more concerning with 40 life and with Teysa out. But nobody has a triggered ability, and no one's really swinging in it. So instead, I'm going to tap this 2 mana and tap Tyrite Sanctum to make Eriette become a god and put a 1/1 counter on her because of it. That seems like the smarter play. This is also turn 9, but regrettably that's all I can do. I have a 3/5. I could swing, but I'd be open, so we're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw over here. Wow, another land. So what could we do with that? Yeah, all right. We're going to tap 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Torment of Hailfire for 7. Repeat the following process 7 times. Each opponent loses 3 life unless that player sacrifices a non-land permanent or discards a card. So we will start with you. You have to do this 7 times. You have to either sacrifice a permanent, discard a card. I don't want to discard a card, but that would be 21 damage. And I don't know that, and they still haven't, I mean, we still have to activate Lily, and obviously we're probably just going to, here's the thing, they only have 1 card, we only have a couple, like, we might have to minus her or something. So anyway, I don't want to discard, I don't want to sacrifice creatures, I don't want to sacrifice my sacrifice outlet, and the point is I have Demon's Due, which allows me, I do lose 2 life, but I get to scry 2 and draw 2 cards. I've had it forever, and I really need to use it to get some better things out. And I've got Drana Carnage Dominus, which makes another trigger of death triggers. And I want to keep that and keep that out. I don't know how viable this is going to be, so I don't know. What do you think? Should I take the risk and take all of the damage? If I got rid of these 2, I'd still have to take 15 damage. And then I wouldn't have any sack outlets or anything to sacrifice, really. And I don't have enough mana to cast both the spells in my hand anyway. You know what? Let's go for broke. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. We took 21 damage. Okay, how about you? You've got nothing you can discard. I would sacrifice these 2, I think, for sure. But I would still have to take, and I'll sacrifice this, because +1/+0 isn't as good as the +2/+0. So that's 3 instances off of the 5, or 7. So that means it's 4 times 3, which is still 12. But I don't want to, I don't have any, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, down to 15. I'll discard 1 card, and I'll sacrifice Bonder's Ornament. So that puts me down to 5 instances. 5 times 3, that's going to be 15. That was a big hit. And I know a lot of people hate Torment of Hellfire for that very reason in black decks. Now, you do still have cards in hand, but if I were to plus it, each player, I'd have to discard, which isn't great. So I don't want to do that. We're going to instead -2 down to 4, and target player sacrifices a creature. I'm going to force you to sacrifice a creature, so you'll sacrifice this. You will get 2 instances of it dying, so you'll gain 2 life and we'll all lose 2 life. I played Torment of Hellfire, which was a black spell, so I do gain a life. Let's see, no one surprisingly is open, so I can't swing in. No creatures came in, so we're going to pass. All right, here we go. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4 to play Demon's Due. Scry 2, then draw 2. Actually, I'll leave those and lose 2 life, though, unfortunately. But I'll draw those 2. I'll play the Swamp for turn, tapping 2 to play Bonecaller Cleric. It's a 2/1. It says you can pay 4 and sacrifice it. Turn target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. I mean, that could be beneficial because I could do that and get Shieldred back. Yeah, so that's something to hope for in the future, but we'll see. I only got 2 mana left. I'm not going to use the altar right now. We're going to have to pass. Untap, upkeep over here. Draw for turn. It's an island. That's not great. I have a 4 something that can swing. We're going to swing the 4 at you. 1, 2, 3, 4, obviously. And we're going to pass turn. Now, that was interesting how the game started out super slow with the life gaining, keeping everybody at 40, and now suddenly everyone's down to like well under 20. So we're going to untap to the start of turn 10. Draw a card for turn. It's a Terramorphic Expanse. Does not help me. I'll just sacrifice it to get a plains for no reason. Well, unfortunately, again, I can't do anything. This is what I was saying. Eriette is not built the way I need her to be. I need way more card draw, clearly. And as I've said in prior videos, I've learned off of this channel that the most important thing in any deck, period, is card draw. You can say, oh no, it's answers, it's this, it's no. Card draw. Because card draw will get you to all those other things. Oh, you need lands? Card draw. You need your answers to respond to a bad creature or artifact? Card draw. But I haven't gone through every single deck I have and upgrade them in terms of card draw. I don't know exactly what the perfect number is. Every deck's a little bit different. I think you need at least 10 instances of card draw. And idealistically speaking, that card draw should be repeatable. It shouldn't just be like Harmonize in green. Pay 4 mana, draw 3 cards. That's okay, but better would be something that's when this creature deals damage, you draw cards. So that it's unblockable, cool, now you're always going to draw cards. Or every time a creature enters the battlefield, every time you cast an enchantment spell, draw a card. Those are great cards for enchantment decks. Because you can just drop a bunch of enchantments, boom, you're drawing cards and refueling your hand. And hopefully that's something I can probably try and do in Eriette, although most of those cards tend to be in green, or green and white, not black and white. That's how she needs to improve, for sure. We're going to pass. Untap over here, upkeep, draw. I'll tap 3 for Bantu's Monument. Black creature spells cost 1 less whenever you cast a creature spell. Each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. Great, except I don't have any of that. Okay, I'm going to minus her again. Make you sacrifice a creature. You're going to sacrifice this because you don't... we don't want you to get Shieldred back out or any of the other creatures, or even the Celebrant. 1, 2, 3, 4 to play Extinguish the Light on Teysa. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. If it's mana value with 3 or less, it was not, so it doesn't matter. She now costs 2 more to cast, which we have the mana for, but then we can't cast anything. Then I will move to combat and swing 5 at you. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 2 of it is commander, but again, I don't think that is mattering at this point. That was a black spell, so I gain a life, and we pass turn. I do like that the game's bouncing around a bit. It's not just, oh, Tetsuko had unblockable infect, and we got that web out. Okay, turn 6, everyone's dead from infect. This is fun for me. So untap, upkeep, draw. Let's go ahead and tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope. 7 to cast Butcher of Malakir. A 5/4 flyer. When Butcher of Malakir or another creature you control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature. We will then tap our last swamp to play Vampiric Rites. Pay 1 and a black, sacrifice creature, you gain 1 life and draw a card. So there's some card draw. See, repeatable card draw. If I had a bunch of tokens out from other things, that would be great. But that's all we can do. We're going to pass. At least we have a nice beefy blocker. Untap over here. Upkeep, draw. Wow, it's another land. We're going to move to combat. Now I think we'll send 4 at you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's keep everybody down at the same amount. We're going to pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. Wow, lands over here. Not the best shuffling of these decks, I don't think. This is turn 11, so we pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. We will tap 2 to play Blood Hustler. It's a 1/1 that says whenever you commit a crime, put a +1/+1 counter on Blood Hustler. This ability triggers only once each turn, and committing a crime is targeting opponents, anything they control, and or cards in their graveyards. And I can pay 4 and target opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. Because it says target, then that becomes a crime. There's things on the stack. I played a creature, black creature, so Eriette is going to deal 1 damage to each of my opponents, and I'm going to gain 1 life. I played a creature spell, so off of Bontu's Monument, each opponent loses a life, and I gain a life. And I played a black spell, so I gain a life. Hey, ho ho. I will then, in fact, pay 4 to activate this ability, target opponent, who's the most, you. You're going to lose 1 life, and I'm going to gain 1 life. And because I targeted someone with a crime, he's going to get a +1/+1 counter. If only I had 1 more mana out or mana rock, I could do it again, but that's fine. I'm going to, now what do I do? See, I don't want to, if I minus target player sacrifices a creature, that would be committing a crime, so that would go up. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll sacrifice Liliana of the Veil. You have to sacrifice a creature. That was a crime, so this will go up, because it's target player, right? Yeah, target player, so I'm targeting a player, there you go. What do you want to sacrifice? I guess you sacrifice Tetsuko again. They go up to 4 to recast, and now we do have enough to recast them. But that is all we can do. Well, that was all main phase 1, so we actually can attack. And you are open, so sure, take 5. Take 5, everybody! Then we pass turn. See, look at the weird way this deck does well. I don't get it. It's not like it's rocket science or anything, obviously. I mean, there's clear synergies, but it's just surprising that this hodgepodge of cards that I've barely upgraded in the slightest can work. However, this is against weaker decks. Like if I put this up against, my Imodane and Kemba or someone that's got like any really of my play groups, it would get demolished. So untap, upkeep, draw. Another land, cool. I guess. All right, so that's Tessa's cost, and then this is her tax. We'll replay Teysa. I have 3 mana, nothing I can do with it. I do have a 5/4 flyer, but I would rather keep that up for blocking. Because, let's be honest, if you do recast Tetsuko, you're going to swing over there. Crack back to you going down to 5. So or 4 damage over there. I'm going to go ahead and pass. We then untap, upkeep, draw. It's a land, holy crap. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 for the actual cost of Tetsuko recast. Move to combat. You're taking 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all we can do. Pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. It's a land. Holy shit, this is bad. Like, everybody's just getting lands. I mean, sure, why not? Well, it's true. I forgot about Rogue's Passage. I can actually make her unblockable. Would that matter now? As I said, she would do 6 damage total with the double strike. That's a nice hit, but it would also leave her open. So I don't think we want to do that just yet. We're going to tap 4, however, and tap sacrifice Tyrite Sanctum to put an indestructible counter on the god Eriette. I do have enough mana to still swing and do the Rogue's Passage, but again, as I said, I don't think that's wise right now. Last turn. It's kind of a keep your head down situation. Like, yeah, people will be like, oh, it's indestructible now, but that doesn't really do much. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. All right, that's cool. We're going to tap 4 to play Ambition's Cost. We are going to lose 3 life, however, but you draw 3 cards, lose 3 life. We're casting a black spell, so I am going to gain a life, though, and then draw 1, 2, and 3. I'll play a land for turn, and I'm going to tap 3 and cast Liliana the Last Hope. She comes in with 3 loyalty. I played a black spell, so I gain a life. Then I'm going to -2 her down to 1 to mill 2 cards. That seems good. And then you may return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. I only have 3 mana, though. I think I'm going to put Ghoul Caller Teysa back into my hand, although she was never in my hand. However, as I said, that's a 5-drop. I do not have enough mana to cast it. There's nothing else I can do. No one is open. Yeah, that's going to be bad, but we're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw over here. That's not helpful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I might as well leave the whites up. Play that Drivnod Carnage Dominus. It's a 8/3. If a creature dying causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control, that ability triggers an additional time. So with Teysa out, any death triggers are going to happen 3 times. I'm going to tap 3 to play the altar, Ashnod's altar, which sacrifice a creature, add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool. However, I don't have anything in my hand, it doesn't help. And I literally have 3 ways to sacrifice creatures, but now I can sacrifice to one of these 2. The Vampiric Rites makes you pay for it, but these 2 are free. I could sacrifice Butcher of Malakir, making everyone sacrifice 3 creatures, so it would wipe the board, allowing me to swing in with a 2/4, unfortunately, because Carnage Dominus isn't ready to swing yet. However, that would literally take all of their stuff off. Well, it would literally wipe the board. You know, honestly, that's probably the right way to do it. I think we'll go ahead. I think we'll do it. I think we'll sacrifice Butcher of Malakir to the Altar of Dementia, making you mill 2 cards. Although we just saw that your graveyard is the thing, so we'll make you mill 2 cards. Or no. How does it work? Equal to the creature's power, so you're going to mill 5. And then, unfortunately, everyone sacrifices the creature. Now, wait a second. Okay, so when a creature dies, exile it. But it doesn't matter because the Ghostly Pilferer does not have any kind of keywords on it, so it's not really going to help anything. And now Tetsuko costs 8 to cast. That's not going to really happen. And unfortunately, it's everyone's sacrifice creature, so the indestructible counter doesn't even protect Eriette. And sure enough, this dies, and she dies for the first time this game, surprisingly. Costs 2 more to cast. There are no death triggers on any of the boards. And then we will go to combat. And you know what? We'll swing Teysa at Lily. She's only at 1. Boom. That's gone, so you don't get any more of those things. We pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. It's a land. Not great. I need, what did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to recast Tetsuko. But that's all we can do. We pass. We untap, upkeep, draw on turn. I think we might have missed a turn. I'm almost positive we did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Recast Eriette. I have 4 mana. That does help though. 1, 2, 3, 4. Suppression bonds onto you. Your giant 8 thing can't attack, and its activated abilities can't activate. Unfortunately, there's a triggered ability. We're going to move to our end step. Hey, we're going to gain a life. Everyone's going to lose a life because we have 1 enchantment out, and we pass. Yeah, I didn't realize that this meant all 3 of these decks had life gain in them like that. Untap, upkeep, draw. Oh, wow. Let's do that. Tap 1, 2, 3 to cast a black spell, which is going to gain us a life. Cryptic Incursion. Exile all creature cards from target player's graveyard. You gain 3 life for each card exiled this way. Oh, that is target creature, target person. Doesn't have to be ourselves. Okay, well, we're going to exile pretty much every card in your graveyard because it's 10. So we're going to gain 3 life for each creature, each card exiled this way. So we're going to gain 30 life. Up to 44. Sure, why not? Then I'm going to, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll recast Ayara. She comes in. Everyone loses a life. I gain a life. I cast a creature. I gain a life. I cast a black spell. I gain a life. And I have 2 mana left. Nothing I can do with it. Oh, I should have a 2/2 zombie because I forgot I played that other Liliana Planeswalker, and that would have triggered this. She was out, so everyone would be 1 life lower, and I would be 1 life higher. Okay. Sorry about that. But who did the thing? That is also true. That zombie would have been out, and I would have sacrificed it instead of Ayara. So technically, shoot, I actually have 1, 2, 3. I should have 5 mana up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I hope I'm not screwing that up too much, but I definitely played it. I didn't put a creature down. I skipped over that big part of Oath of Liliana. And it would have been at the end step. Everyone would have lost a life. I gained a life. We took care of that. Then on their step, they sacrificed the Malakir, which board wiped, except we had an extra creature at that point, and so we would not have sacrificed Ayara. So that means we don't have to recast her, which means we have 5 mana additional. So we'll go ahead and tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for Noxious Gearhulk. Black creature, I gain a life, lose a life, lose a life, lose a life. Creature spell, I gain a life, lose a life, lose a life, lose a life. And I played a black spell, I gain a life. Holy crap, up to 51. Menace 5/4. When Noxious Gearhulk enters the battlefield, you may destroy another target creature. If a creature is destroyed this way, you gain life equal to its toughness. The biggest toughness on the field is Teysa or Eriette. So yeah, we'll destroy Teysa. She now costs 4 more to cast, and I gain 4 life. Wow. And this is the weird deck. I love it, but it's so crazy. Pass turn. Technically, we could swing with Ayara because she never got destroyed. And okay, we will. Sorry. Just trying to keep things moving, but yeah, that's what we would do. Untap, upkeep, draw. Cool, tap 2 for an arcane signet. Well, actually, I guess we'll just tap the Temple of the False Gods. Yep, fortunately, Teysa is dropping the ball, and she's supposed to be the toughest of all of them. There's nothing we can do. I mean, okay, so we'll sacrifice Drivenod to Altar of Dementia. You get this back. That way we know we don't getting pinged. And then we can have somebody mill cards equal to its power. So someone does mill 8 cards. We'll make you mill 8 cards. But that's all we can do. We'll pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. It's a land. Nothing we can do. Pass. Yes, they are unblockable and they could swing, but whatever. It's 1 damage. It's not going to matter at this point. Untap, upkeep, draw. I could tap a white ethereal armor onto Eriette. It gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control and has first strike. So now she's back up to 3. We do have Rogue's Passage. At this point, it doesn't matter. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and taps Rogue's Passage to make her unblockable. 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3. Double strike is 6 damage. I can kill one of you two, but who the heck cares? We're going to have to swing it at you. Oh, but you do have, darn it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Shoot. I was not paying attention to that at all. I could have killed them long ago. See, that's on me. That's totally on my lack of paying attention to the board state. We are also at least 1 more. I think we're actually 2. So that would put us at turn 14. Not great. But yeah, Eriette totally could have taken them out. We can take them out next turn, but it won't matter because now they know we can take them out next turn. We pass. She does not have Vigilance. So untap, upkeep, draw for turn. It's a land. I will tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and play Ghoul Caller to Sol. So I gain a life, everyone loses a life. Boom! You are done, regrettably. Kaboosh. Then I played a creature, so I gain another life. Everyone else goes down. I played a creature, or I played a black spell, draw. Oh, that sounds fun. Let's do that. We're going to go ahead and move to combat. Going to swing 5 damage at you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and pay 1. Oh, wait, can I do that, though? Maybe I can't because of Summoning Sickness. Yeah, I can't. Darn it. Okay, the idea was to activate Ghoul Caller's ability, sacrificing Noxious Gearhulk, which would make, based on its power, it would have made 5 2/2 zombies. Ayara would have pinged everybody for 5. They would have died. And then, yeah. Regrettably, I don't believe I can do that because of the Summoning Sickness. I mean, I can't. So I suppose I should have swung with this, but it still would leave you at 1. Doesn't really matter. We're going to pass. Oh, that does matter because you're going to kill us with Crackback. Yeah, you can't. Oh my god. Holy shit. Shoot. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Okay, well then let's tap her to sacrifice this to draw a card. It's a freaking land. Unreal. Could have just been like a creature I could have won. Well, actually I couldn't have. It still would have only done 2 damage to everybody. Well, that is... Oh my god, that is insane. Darn it, guys. All right, pass turn. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. 52 life, and it's going to lose. Untap, upkeep, draw. I have just enough to recast her, but that doesn't really matter. I guess maybe it does. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Recast Teysa. I do have 2 mana open, but that's not enough to do anything. We'll pass. You're dead. Tell you he be dead. Untap over here. Upkeep, draw. 1, 2, 3. Fog on the Barrow Downs. Enchanted creature is a spirit, and it can't attack or block. We move to combat. We kill you with commander damage. Son of a bitch. Darn it. Theoretically on turn. Oops, turn 15. And then we can totally get in on the next time. But let's go see. So that's all we can do. We pass turn. Because if, Teysa gets some sort of targeted removal, that could still do something. Because they're both at 3 life. So it is still anybody's game. Untap, up. Nope, it's a land. We'll play the land. I will tap 1, 2, 3, 4 to play Solemn Simulacrum. When it enters the battlefield, search for a basic land. Put on the battlefield tapped. We'll put Swamp. Okay, so I will tap 2, sacrifice Solemn to Vampiric Rites. So that's going to say I gain a life and I draw a card. When Solemn dies, I draw a card, and that trigger is going to trigger twice off of Teysa. So, alright, we'll tap that for a Soul Ring, tap the Soul Ring for a Thought Vessel, ramp it up a storm, and here we go. We're going to black, white, and 1 other to Mortify. Destroy target creature or enchantment. We're going to destroy your commander. Look at that. It now costs 9 to recast, and we gained that 1 life. Pass. We're going to untap. This falls off. Upkeep, draw. Wow, it's a land. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, just enough, or not more than enough. Eriette, we still have 3, but she doesn't have Summoning Sickness, or she does. We pass back to Teysa. It's like a ping pong match, back and forth, bang, 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 bang. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Damn it, it's a land. That's gonna be, well, it's not gonna be game, but she can make Teysa. Yeah, I guess that would be damn. Yep. There's nothing I can do. I could sacrifice Teysa 2 Vampiric Rights to draw a card and gain a life, and I guess that's really the smart move, so we'll do that. You get your enchantment back. She now costs a lot more, because what was that last time? Shoot, I don't know. I think she costs 10 now, but we gain a life, and we draw a card. It's a mirrored freaking landscape. Yep, we're going to call that as game, because she can make Eriette unblockable. It's got double strike. It's, well, no, that's still not. We'll do that. All right, let's go see. Hang on. So we untap, we draw. It's a creature. We'll tap 2 for Wicked Visitor. Whenever an enchantment you control is put into the graveyard from battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life. Well, that's a little too late. We tap the necessary mana, 1, 2, 3, 4, and Rogue's Passage to make her unblockable. Double strike, you get hit for 4, Commander. We definitely haven't attacked you before yet with Commander. Or we may have, but it's definitely low. We then untap over here, upkeep, draw. It's a freaking land. We play it. We can totally recast her because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We recast her. There's nothing I can do to draw cards except for sacrifice her again. And that would gain us 1 life, and we draw a card. I guess that's what you do. It's insanely stupid, but sure. Now she costs 12 to cast. Like, you're basically digging for answers, but it's not enough. We gain 1 life and we draw a card. It's Phyrexian Arena. We could play it, but that's it. Okay, yep, pass. She wins. Ba-boom! There you go. Winner of Game 1 is freaking Eriette, which is insane. I hope you enjoyed the game. I hope you saw some cool cards that you want to put into your decks. Let me know what you think, how you would try and fix these decks and make them faster and better. And I will see you next time.